Is there any other non-video game stuff?
Let's see. Have I done anything with my life since then? No, I work and come home.
What have I done to educate myself in the past? I had grass in my backyard. Is that podcast worthy? There was grass in the backyard.
I shoveled 3 tons of gravel out of my backyard. It's not much of a story. It's a statement. Nothing I have much to say. Yeah,
it's
that's
not
right.
much of
I did
a story. It's a statement. It's a good line.
I listened to fucking Tim Pool, Manny, who the fuck else? Who are schizo people like this list off? Critical Drinker, fuck, who are some rightoids? I can just list off. I'm gonna do any non-video game things you've been done lately? Depends. You want to get canceled the Rumble? Fucking. Alright, let's get this fucking shit going.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna start the cold open now. It's gonna be 12 minutes in.
Okay.
Cold open. Aleks, I got fucking rabies.
Nice.
So, Aleks, have you ever had a rabies shot?
I don't think I have, no.
Well, that's right. Your parents didn't really get you, like, a lot of, like, young healthcare shit.
That's not entirely true, actually. In defense of my parents didn't do shit for me, other than just kind of throw me to the side and just do whatever. But they did this one thing to me. And I have no idea what it was, but I specifically remember doing this.
Uh-oh. I don't know if this is going to get fucking dark. What the,
no. They took me to like an eye doctor or something. Now, what the fuck is LASIK eye surgery?
So at LASIK eye surgery, my older brother got this. What it is they take... So, okay, you know that scene in Dead Space?
Where they had the needle in the guy's eye, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically that, but with a laser. Like, they cut and adjust and, like, they solder your eyes, essentially. And then after, like, 2 weeks, your eyes heal back, and you're like, oh, sweet, I can see again for, like, 25 years. And I have to come in and, like, get it touched up a little bit.
So... And after you do that, your eyes are like really hypersensitive to light, right?
For a while, yeah. Until
yeah,
you're done
that happened to me. They did that to me when I was a little kid. Because I specifically remember that because I was like, damn, everything's so fucking bright. What the fuck? This fucking sucks balls. I wear
when did you get LASIK eye surgery? What the fuck?
When I was a little kid.
That's bullshit.
They did that to me for some reason. And you actually just mentioned that it wears off. I think it's wearing off because I can't read things from far away like I used to anymore. I don't know if I'm just getting old or if that's just wearing off now.
Aleks, it's finally happening. Welcome to my club. Can you fucking read your signs on the wall? I can't. I can't even read my computer screen, dude. It sucks. Oh,
well, it's not that bad. I just can't read things from far away in the store, from like maybe fucking 10 or 12 feet away. They start getting blurry.
I'm going to circle back to the rabies thing, but I'm going to tell you right now, I did something really fucking dumb.
Yeah.
So I am legally blind without my glasses, right?
Okay.
Like literally right now, I'm sitting maybe 3 feet away from my computer screen without my glasses on. I can't read any of the text on it, right?
Okay.
So I went to the pool. Recently. It's like the first time of the summer. I'm like, oh, sweet, I can't wait to go in here. I go and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to wear my new glasses that I got recently. I'm going to grab one of my old pairs. I put it on. I'm walking in the pool, and I go up to the diving board, and I'm like, huh, something seems a little bit off here, but I don't know, maybe it's just been a little bit. I jump into the pool and immediately realize I forgot to take off my fucking glasses. I had to do this swim of shame to this 16-year-old lifeguard and be like, oh, fucked up. I can't find my glasses. Anyway, so yeah, I fucking lost my glasses, and they couldn't find it for a while because people kept jumping in, and eventually a child retrieved my glasses for me.
If I may interject to interrupt your rabies story one more time, because I have a funny fuck up that I did once when I was younger. Because alright, check this out. This was many, many years ago when I lived in the apartment before I lived in this house now, when I was still an overnighter at Walmart. During a bike ride home, because I would get off at like 7 in the morning, and in winter it's fucking still dark as fuck out, right? Yeah. So I'm biking home, and every time that I go up by this little fucking curb, I would just like hop up it or hop down. I'm not gonna drive all the way around and like go down the fucking little ramp, you know? Fuck that, it takes too much time.
You got a Dave Mirra BMX it.
Yeah, basically. And so I always kept thinking like, man, if they should just put a ramp right fucking here, it'd be so much more efficient. So after years of thinking of that thought, one night, 7 in the morning when it's still dark out, I see that the thing is a lot lower looking. I'm like, oh, perfect, they put a ramp there. My bike, because there's a bunch of like slush and water, basically masking where the ledge is supposed to be. So I visually thought like, oh, they probably built a ramp there. And the literal second the bike touches the water, I just said, they didn't, did they? And I fucking get launched off my fucking bike and just eat shit on the fucking ground. I was mostly more embarrassed than hurt. Luckily, nobody saw that because it was really early in the morning.
I think of that apartment that you lived in. There's two like core memories I have of that place. One, staying up all night and watching all of the M&M's video game story cutscenes, and two, sleeping on your couch and like power grinding Wobbuffet breeding on Pokemon X and Y for like 6 hours.
Why?
I needed one with Encore or whatever. I think it was I had to breed them with something, and I kept doing it to get a good nature rather than just cheating.
To distract more from this Rabies story, what do you think about the new Pokemon game?
See, okay, I was talking about this with my coworkers. The new Pokemon games, like the past like 5, have sucked. Do kids still care about Pokemon that much?
Here's something I gotta tell you. When you were a kid, were the things you liked actually good, or were you just a kid?
Unironically, yes. Unironically, yes. Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire are better than the most recent Pokemon games.
So, congratulations, Ted. You are correct, because there is some statement to saying that you are a kid. You kind of have a higher threshold for some bullshit, you know? But when we were kids, things were better. This is factually correct, because I can tell you, when I played Pokemon fucking Ruby and Pokemon fucking Crystal and shit when I was a kid, I don't remember the game fucking hard crashing when I caught a fucking Pokemon. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, buying DLC... We couldn't buy DLC back then, but like, I'm just saying, I don't remember buying an add-on to a video game and immediately permanently fucking up my save file and losing 400 hours of gameplay.
Back in my day, if we wanted to fuck up my Pokemon save, I had to catch Messino.
Fucking, like, honestly. So, I played Scarlet and Violet, and I streamed the whole damn thing on Discord to my friends. I think that game is really, really bad. Like, it is just
Is that the one with the wild regions? Or was that the other one?
That's fucking Arceus or whatever. But this is the same kind of thing where you run around and catch the Pokemon, like, in the world. Like, rather than running in the bushes and shit. So here's the thing about Scarlet and Violet. Much like in my original Criticism of Apex Legends, it is objectively a bad product. It is just a bad fucking product. It looks like shit. It runs like shit. There's a billion little bugs. It, like, doesn't sound good. It doesn't look good. You're constantly assaulted on all your senses. And, like, obviously the story isn't good because it's fucking Pokemon, right? The only thing I can say that's good about that game is that, like, the Pokemon designs for Gen 9 aren't terrible. Question mark, I guess? Compared to, like, Gen 8. But, like, I really enjoyed playing it, though. Because it's really fucked up to say that. It's really, really fun running around and catching these Pokemon in an actual, like, adventure. I just really wish it actually fucking functioned. If they had even just a little bit of time to grind that out, because you play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and the Switch can look good, you just gotta know how to make it work, right?
Yeah, that's the thing that these fucking, like, these Legend of Zelda, like, modders don't understand, is that when you put in, like, the fucking Unreal Engine 5 hyper, like, 5,000 by 5,000 square textures, the game doesn't look good. There's a reason why the game is slightly desaturated. It's because it puts, like, a Ghibli nostalgic feature onto it and makes you, like, suspend your disbelief a bit so that the game feels better to play. It's not that hard to understand. I am not an artist and I could pick up on these things.
But, like, it's bad. It's really bad. It's really bad, and I hate that I enjoyed playing it. It's a game that, like, I don't want to, like, enjoy. You know what I mean?
So there was so I knew I became an old man when I saw a Pokemon design and I thought it was like a fake one, and I didn't realize that was a brand new real Pokemon. And I was like, oh my god, I don't know what the newest Pokemons are. So the Pokemon games that came out recently. So there was Sun and Moon.
Recently? That was almost 10 years ago.
Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
I genuinely think that was 8 years ago.
And then there was Pokemon Legends Arceus?
That was like 5 years ago.
Bullshit. No, it was not 5 years ago.
I think it was 2018. It's 2023, bro.
Oh my god. Okay, so then there was Pokemon
I'm
Britain.
Googling it right now.
Hold on. So Pokemon Britain, I forget that one. And then the newest one's Pokemon Spain.
Okay,
right?
okay. It came out in 2022. I'm a fucking idiot.
Because there was like... There was like the wild areas in the British Pokemon game, I think. But they were like kind of half-assed and like kind of shitty. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus was a thing. And like they did it a little bit better. And now is Scarlet the most recent one? I don't know the Pokemons anymore.
Yeah, Scarlet and Violet is the most recent one. It's getting DLC in like a couple of months.
Okay. See, I lost track of my Pokemans.
Wow, bro. What a fake fan. What a fake man-child. You call yourself an Intendler? An Intodler?
Give me a break. I think my brain has partially turned to foam because of my rabies.
So back to this rabies thing. What the fuck happened to you?
So, okay. My work was actually, I think, like almost 2 months ago at this point. So I was sleeping. I had a really long day at work. Like I was working like fucking 82 hours every paycheck, right? And my cats were going ape shit. And I'm like, oh, okay, they're just doing cat things. It's 6 a.m. I guess I'm not allowed to sleep in on my weekend. And I wake up and I'm like, oh, there's a giant moth in my room. And then it shits on the bed. And I'm like, that's not moth shit. So I grab my glasses. And yeah, there's a big fucking bat just flopping around, hitting the walls in my bedroom.
Oh, shit.
Now, Alex, what do you know about bats? Do you think of them as like, do you think they're graceful flyers?
They're literally flying rats.
So do you think? Well, okay. So bats
what
are kind of
what
mixed.
even is a graceful flyer? Like a fucking hummingbird? I've seen a hummingbird eat shit. I think everything sucks at flying.
So a bat is not supposed to like just slam into walls and like bounce around, right? It's not supposed to do that. That's how you know that a bat is like scary. I woke up and this bat was here, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, what's going on here? And it's just flying around and flying around, flying around. And eventually we catch it. I put it in a grocery bag and I just go outside and go, and I throw him out there and he flies away. I shouldn't have done that. This is for the future for anyone else that has a bat in their room. Keep the fucking bat. Like, put it in like a Tupperware container and like put some holes in it or something. Not in the bat, but in the Tupperware container. Because you need to bring that shit so they can test it for rabies. Because, Aleks, a rabies shot costs $7,000.
Oh, fuck. Did you pay it?
Well, I have to pay $1,900 of it. That's with insurance. So this bat was just flying around. And at first I'm like, okay, you know, I don't know how, it probably wasn't in my bedroom that long. Whatever. I'm just going to get out of here, you little crazy fucker. And then I like posted in the group chat with the boys. I'm like, haha, look at this bat. And then I used like an AI generator to make a meme out of it, right? And it said, haha, hanging in there for Mondays.
Okay.
And put like a star on it. And I was like, I was ready to just brush it off and go about my day. And then they're like, bro, you need to go to the fucking ER right now. I'm like, well, it didn't bite me. They're like, dude, if you get any saliva like in your mouth or on a cut or anything, like you're going to fucking die. So rabies has been around for like hundreds and hundreds of years. If there is no cure for that shit, dude, if you get rabies, you are fucked. Like, it sits there and it incubates for weeks to months.
What's the fucking shot do, then?
So what the shot does, so preemptively, you're supposed to be getting your rabies shots, like, every 2 years or something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally doing that.
Yeah, you should probably do that.
I ain't
but
anyway,
money. So you get the shot.
Let the fucking rabid coyote fucking kill me.
So what happens with rabies? So I was Googling it and they're like, yeah, bro, you could very well have it. I'm like, oh, whatever. What's rabies? And I start reading it. So rabies is fucking terrifying, dude. So what it does is it gets up inside your brain and like swooses, like it does the fucking raging demon through your blood-brain barrier and then blocks it off. So you can't get any antibiotics in there to get rid of it. And what it does is it makes you like, you can't drink water anymore. Like your throat just starts spasming whenever you look and like try to swallow. So you start foaming at the mouth and shit. And it starts making you like see shit. The reason why they know this is because they like studied the 5 people who survived rabies. And I say survived, but like that kid AJ from Fairly Odd Parents, where half his brain deflates.
You reference that picture very often, so yes.
That's what happens to you. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, because doesn't rabies itself eat at your brain?
Yes, and as soon as you start showing symptoms, you're already dead. Like, that shit's scurry. So I'm like, okay, fine. I guess I'll go to the ER. So the first thing I did was I checked my cat's medical records. I have 2 cats. And I was like, okay, yeah, he got a rabies shot like 3 months ago. This one got a rabies shot like 6 months ago. They're effective for 2 years. Okay. Because I took the credit for it, but it was actually the kitten that jumped off of a fucking wall Matrix style and ganked that bat's ass midair. I just took the credit for it. So yeah, I'm like, okay, I guess. All right, it's 6:30 in the fucking morning on a Saturday. I wanted to like maybe do something else, but I guess I'm going in here. So I go to the vet, right? And the shot consists of like, they had to take 2 big ass syringes and they said, all right, now we're going to go ahead and we're going to have to put this in your ass. And I was like, oh, do you mean like in my ass or do you mean like on the cheek?
Well, please, great detail.
But yeah,
for
no,
the
they were like
podcast.
very, they were very like blunt about it. Like, all right, listen, you're gonna need to get some shots in your ass. And I was like, oh, Kirsten, I think you're gonna need to leave the room for this. Thankfully, no, they did not put a plastic syringe up my asshole.
Okay.
But I was telling the guy, I'm like, this is the most humiliating thing I've ever done. And I briefly, so I know I play cards with someone who works as like an EMT. And as I was sitting there in the waiting room, I was like, if he's the one that's going to have to shoot me in the ass, I'm going to make this as intentionally uncomfortable for him as possible. I was like formulating like the funniest fucking plan in my mind. This is the same one, by the way, that steals all the magic cards.
So what you're saying,
Walmart.
is, Tad, is that you were starting to already show signs of the rabies.
I was just starting to foam. I was starting to foam out the other side of me. I don't know what that was. It was the taquitos. But yeah, no, I had to get my shot, and then they put it right in my fucking butt cheeks. And I was like, wow, I'm glad that you put it in the one spot of my body I have to use on a daily basis to sit down. But at this point, I had been in the hospital for 2 hours. I'm like, I just want to go home. I just want to go home.
Did they give you one of those little hemorrhoid pillows?
No, but I wish they did. So... now, here's part of what a rabies treatment is. So you get the humiliating shots in your ass. So what they do is they like clot up your butt blood, I guess.
All right.
And it makes it so that it can't, like it fills your blood with some bullshit that if the rabies thing is there, it can't progress any further. It just stops it right there. And then I had to go back every fucking 4 days for another 2 shots in my ass, dude.
Jesus fucking Christ.
I was like I was a pincushion, dude. I was backing that ass up on Sonic T Hedgehog. I was full of holes.
But what I was curious about, though, is that, did you even have rabies at all?
I have no way of knowing. Because honestly, what probably happened is that so I had a very small hole in like my kitchen window. And what probably happened is that bat got in there, went to sleep, woke up because my cats were fucking with it, and it flopped down, flew through my house, and got into my bedroom, and then just went, until getting his ass murked by a cat. So probably, no, he probably didn't bite me, but I couldn't take that risk because if I did that 50-50 coin flip, I'd fucking die if I lost.
Well,
that is the messiest, that is literally the messiest guessie you could possibly have, Aleks.
I'd take that odds. I'm a gotcha player. Me, fucking froth hit the fucking mouth, flopping around on the fucking ground, shitting everywhere. Fucking,
But I got my bat JPEG.
So, what I was curious about, though, is that could you have just tested your blood for the rabies itself right before you spent thousands of dollars getting pincushion into your ass?
Well, that's what I asked too, but apparently they're like, no, the tests we have aren't reliable. It's like, we're just going to treat you anyway. I'm like, okay. If I had known it cost $7,000, I would have been like, listen, my life isn't worth that much. Let's do this test here. Give me like a day. Oh, I almost bowled over the best part. So I had been to this I'm in a small town, so literally like there's no urgent care, there's just the emergency room. So about a year and some change ago, around Christmas time, I caught COVID. I had COVID fucking 3 or 4 times, by the way, Aleks, and I got my stupid shot and I got my stupid booster and all
Thanks
that
a lot,
garbage.
Fauci.
It's a scam.
Way to put yourself on fucking bitch shoot there, bro.
So no, I'm not saying it's a scam. My doctor was telling me it was a scam.
Based.
So I saw this guy with COVID twice, and I go in there again, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the rabies vaccine is pretty bad, but you know what's not bad? The other way. The rabies vaccine's not bad, but the COVID vaccine now that's bad and fake." And I'm like, "Is he fucking with me? What's going on here?" He's like, no. And then he started going off about QAnon, dude. Out of every single provider in that hospital, I got the QAnon anti-vax doctor. And I want you to know, Aleks, this is what my life has become. As soon as I zeroed in on this guy, I was like, schizo detected. Time to mine him for podcast content.
So what you're saying is that you trust the science.
I trust Dr. Bobert. Specifically, that's what he told me to call me. He's like, "Call me Dr. Bobert," and I was like, "Okay,
so
I guess so."
So you get this whole thing. Now, are you ready to do this every 2 years for the rest of your life to make sure those bats don't get you again?
Yes, actually, I will. You know what, Aleks? I will get my rabies vaccine. I don't need to have it continuing, but dude, it's free. Just put the microplastics in my blood, Bill Gates.
Free, $1,000
It's free.
Is free.
That means there's absolutely no cost to it.
Oh man, it's great.
No one's footing this bill. No, but yeah, this dude was he was telling me about how COVID was made in a lab and a bunch of other crazy shit.
Well,
the lab thing is actually the lab thing's actually kind of true. But don't let it, I mean that's like true. Anyway, trust the science. He what was the other shit he was telling me about? Yeah, the QAnon stuff. He was telling me how he wished that he was at the January 6th like Capitol Hill. He was telling me, because what I was doing, Aleks, is that this is what you do with the crazies that are fun to talk with, is you just feed into their delusions.
They're feeding into my delusions when I start schizoing off at 3 a.m.
Well, you're not fun schizoing.
All right, sorry, I'm just dropping too many truth bombs. Like Ted Kaczynski, rest in peace, was right about everything.
Call me. I'm gonna see what happens. I keep filling into it, and it flips, and I become Tad Kaczynski, and I start dropping knowledge bombs.
Industrial society, its consequences have been a disaster for the human race, and other fun things to tell your friends at 3 a.m.
That's my favorite thing about the Ted Kaczynski shit, is that it's like, okay, yeah, that is a pretty bussin' line, not gonna lie, but there's also like another 400 pages to that manifesto of schizophrenic ramblings on par with the crazy guy in your town with the truck billboard and the nut pole with like the QAnon flag on it.
So you're saying is based, correct, based, always right, based.
Yes, actually, you know what? I'm literally looking down at my chest right now. So I've done this 3 times. So I spent $42 in 4 months of my life working with support tickets to get this shirt that I'm currently wearing, which is a shirt that says in like default MS Paint font, support targeted individuals, remote neural monitoring, no more gang stalking. I bought an anti-gang stalking shirt from a crazy man for $42.
Why and where?
I'll put the link in the fucking description.
Yeah, show someone else's merch.
No, actually, what I should do is I should just steal his design and sell it as my own.
Base.
He won't even notice anything's different. It'll be like another day for him. But no, this is the 3rd day in a row. So I usually wear this shirt. I wear this shirt to work, by the way. When I'm going to work, or like doing not that often, but 3 days in a row, every time I've wore the shirt, I end up like going to the grocery store, picking up the order for lunch for work, talking to people, and they'll look at me weird and I don't understand why. And it's because I'm wearing the most nut pull schizo shirt I own. And I own 3 schizo shirts, dude.
See, the thing is that if I wore that shit out here in Idaho, they'd just be like, oh, dude, based. I see a lot of
Greater
fucking...
Idaho bro. And
Greater
they do the Idaho bro fist.
Yeah, good update on that. More fucking counties want us from Oregon want to set up with Idaho. Just saying, bros, it's gonna happen.
The national divorce.
Yeah, so what's really funny about that is that if okay, it's a huge gigantic if, all right? Big asterisk next to this if, okay? But if Greater Idaho were to go through, everything else would just kind of start falling apart because everyone would just say, well, if they could do it, why can't we, right? And everything would just like the national divorce would happen if Greater Idaho ever went through. And I think that fucking they will know that and probably will try to deny it and not let it happen because it is like it's funny, but long-term success, that is a very bad idea. Hey, isn't it weird that a lot of people like to say divide and conquer? Isn't it weird how we're divided we're getting right now? Haha, I'm sure nothing about that's going on.
Okay, here's my so I'm currently wearing my schizo shirt. Here's my schizo opinion, Alex. Unironically, I think China's not that big a deal. I don't think they're going to be around in 5 to 10 years.
Okay,
they're rapidly falling apart.
Okay, Chang.
Now, Alex, I may be literally working for a Chinese Bitcoin mining company, but that definitely doesn't impact my opinions on anything. Oh, actually, okay. By the way, here's another thing, another fuck up I did just today. So yesterday I was like cleaning up the office, right? And I made myself some coffee. Today I come in, I look at the coffee pot. There's a fucking rat turd in it.
Based. So, I was going to say this, Dad. You say they're going to collapse in 5 years. Who's today going to take us down with them?
Well, we're on the other side of the globe, so like if I was in Japan, I'd be a little bit worried. If I was in Taiwan, I'd be like, "Ooh, yikes!" But I'm in America, dude. We've got an entire. If there's ever, this is the most based part about being an American, right? If there's ever like a big fucking like cataclysmic world-ending event, we're in the country that's going to be fine. If there's a big problem, they're not going to cross the sea to get to us. Who the fuck's going to deal with the United States of America? Mexico? Canada? South America? Dude, come the fuck on. Really? Brazil's going to come up here and like try to start some shit? Yeah, okay. We're in the best. We are on the top of like the YA novel Bad Guy Hill in case there's ever like a world-ending cataclysm. I'm just saying, Alex.
What if it destroys from the inside?
I don't know. Maybe that wasn't rat shit in my coffee.
So, early signs of rabies include thinking China will collapse in 5 years, thinking America is safe.
Delusions of grandeur.
I'm just saying, that sounds like some copium right there, bro. Nothing bad will ever happen to us. Bad thing happens.
That's what he was injecting me with. I had 8 milliliters of copium straight into my ass.
Okay. So, while you were dying of rabies, I, being a very good friend, spent an entire month playing nothing but Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes, it has been exactly 1 month since that game came out, and the exact same story here. I've got 120 hours in it in 1 month's time.
So,
which
I have
that's only 20 hours. That's only 20 hours short of Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild in 1 month I had 147 hours. So this one I'm pretty fucking close to it.
And you have way less done than Breath of the Wild did in that playtime, don't you?
Yes, I have spent a significant amount of my time in this game just meandering around mountains and slowly walking and going, that looks kind of cool. And then taking the camera out and taking photos of things I've already taken photos of 48 times and then deleting the photo because I didn't realize it.
So, I have about 100 and something hours in it because the Switch timers I was a little fucking off. But like,
yeah,
I mentioned before in Breath of the Wild 1, I'm a bit of the contrarian with that game where I liked it, but like, I'm very critical of Breath of the Wild 1, you know? And where I had about 68 hours in that game or some shit, and then I just felt like I got bored of it and wanted to go beat it. This game I had like well over 100 hours, and I still wasn't even done with it at that time, and I still thought to myself, I haven't seen everything this game has to show me yet. Because even at like the 100-hour mark, I found a new enemy type. There is a lot more in Tears of the Kingdom, and like basically every big problem I had with 1, they've pretty much fixed. I have very little negative to say about Tears of the Kingdom. It is a huge step up. And this is for me, the critical guy.
So I mean, yeah, we're gonna talk a lot about Zelda in this episode. Like that's the major thing.
He says while we're 40 minutes in talking about rabies and shit.
So I'm gonna go through some of my pros that I had with this game, right? So I'm like a similar-ish amount of time, right? I was kind of feeling the same thing where I'm like, okay, I think I've seen everything in here, right? And then I went to an area and I found like an entirely new gameplay mechanic, and I was like, oh fuck, what is this?
Yeah.
And if you're wondering what it was in the northmost part of the map, kind of by the Hebra Mountains, like the top right of the Hebra Mountains, is where I found like this whole new ass gameplay mechanic, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I am much happier with the weapon system in this game, right? I didn't have a super big problem with the weapon style in Breath of the Wild. I did find it kind of tiresome that my combat was kind of like, okay, the silver enemies, I freeze them, I hit them with the fire two-handed sword. I freeze them, I hit them with the fire two-handed sword, right? And I just kind of kept looping through that. For the first like 60 hours, I was having a lot of fun combining all the weapons, and now I'm kind of at the point where it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure I know how like every possible combination works. I don't think I really need to worry about this. Until I realized, oh, I haven't even fucked around with vehicles at all. Everything works completely different when I attach it to a big spinny fucking block.
The other thing I was gonna bring up was with the weapon mechanic. So, one of the things I mentioned in Breath of the Wild 1, because the episode we did on that was like actually fucking years ago. Fucking Breath of the Wild came out we've been doing this for a long time. Don't ignore that break that we were gone for 2 years.
2017, baby. Woo!
So, like, with Breath of the Wild 1, I felt like there was not much of a reason to actually fight anything, because all you ever got was either a replacement for the weapon you just used up fighting everything, or like a shield you're not using because parrying and dodging, you use your shields, which technically that still kind of happens in this game too, but whatever. So with this now, there's two minor changes that have a big impact. That is, one, you have the materials that drop off of enemies. One of the things I mentioned in the one is that there needs to be something else to incentivize me to fight, rather than just random gear to upgrade my fucking, like, armor. And this is literally things that make my weapons stronger. But two, because weapons are actually more brittle in this game, and you drop enemies for loot off the enemies, what you end up doing is, like, you'll take your club, which you put like a moblin horn on, smack an enemy, beat him down, break the weapon. Then when he's dead, you grab the club that he dropped, even if it's a shitty like little like 10 damage club, his 50 fucking damage horn, boink. Now that weapon becomes a lot more viable, and you can just like cycle through the weapons and with a better, more like rewarding kind of combat experience, because you can get to play on the fly, but also still like better cycle through your weapons rather than just hoarding them forever.
Yeah.
But also, big thing is that there are more enemies actually in the way. Because in Breath of the Wild 1,
thank God, dude,
enemies are mostly just kind of fucked up to their camps. Enemies, in a weird way, the monsters kind of stick to themselves in that game. In here,
they're just minding their own goddamn. You have to go out of your way to find their little skull camps and burn them to death.
Yeah, once again, like, why would I do this? I'm just wasting my weapons. Me hoarding my fucking weapons. In this case, like, there are enemies, like, I'm riding my horse to go take these fuckers to the Great Ferry, and fucking 3 fucking little goblins riding horses with bows and arrows start to fucking harass my ass. I have to fight them because they're starting shit with me, right? Or, like,
so that's a massive...
What's up?
Yeah, go ahead. Finish your thing.
Across like the main road, there's a fucking blockade with like a bunch of moblins just dancing around by the blockade. They literally blocked my path. I have to deal with them or go around them, right? Like I have to actually engage with the enemies now. That's a huge step up. So like my biggest complaint with the combat was mostly addressed in this.
So in the first one, I don't think this was the case. But in this one, the different colors of enemies actually have different move sets. Did you ever notice that?
Yes, actually. I found a really cool one, if I may explain. I went down underground. The underground's very cool, by the way. I went underground, and there's this little like underground like fortress almost, with a bunch of like Zolfos with bows and shit, a bunch of bokoblins with a big bokoblin. And what they did is they were a bunch of like silver bokoblins and like a big silver boss one. He blows his horn when they see me, and I'm like revving up like my bow and arrow with a bomb attached to it, and they do a little like like grunt, and they all form up together and hold up their shields and block my bomb. I lost my mind at them actually being like intelligent when they like their colors got upgraded. It was fucking awesome.
Yeah, I'm much happier with the enemies in this one. So yeah, like different. That was definitely the biggest problem with the first one is that like every single moblin was the same, every bokoblin was the same, every Lizalfos except for the fire and ice and whatever they were like everything was pretty much the same. This one like giving the enemies so even a low level like generic fucking dude becomes a serious threat if he has one of those fucking spears that shoot like the korok leaf like gust at you.
Yeah.
Have you ever like even a fucking red I was starting a gang war in the middle of the mountain, right?
Yeah.
I was just walking around. I'm like, oh, there's a bunch of the robots. There's a bunch of dudes, and there's a big wooden fence. What happens if oh, it does start. And I went in there and I was like trying to pick them off. And this little red bokoblin runs over to me and just, and I fly down the mountain and die. Because I only had like 4 hearts. I went, I just rolled off the cliff.
So, one of the things I really
I'm
like
going to tell you
too,
something.
Oh, what's up?
Here's something about about the colors that I don't think anyone else realized. Have you noticed that they behave differently?
Yeah. They have like a hierarchy where like the bigger ones, like the silver ones, will like be sleeping, while the lower shitter ones will like be on guard duty at night.
I saw that in one of the camps. I thought it was the coolest fucking thing because I'm like, oh my god, this black and blue ones are just sleeping. The red ones having to stay awake and look around. Like, another one I saw happen was so this is what I started doing when I got like the masks that let me disguise as a moblin or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do is I would take a sword, right, and I would attach an apple to it, which normally that's just like useless, whatever. But then I would drop the sword, pick it up, and then drop it somewhere, and then all the little dudes would run over and go to the apple. And the higher level ones would like push the other ones away as he got to it, and like he would grab the sword and like start eating off of it. Right, and the other ones would kind of get mad at him, but then they would kind of crowd around him. And I was able to do that to get them away from the moblin, went over, sneak striked them, and then threw like a muddle bud at those other ones and just watch them rip each other to shreds.
See, I never even tried doing shit like that because there's a lot of ways you can play this game in so many different like little ways. It's like I really like Tears of the Kingdom compared to one. One was like good, but this is like really, really, really good. Now, have you fucked around with making vehicles?
So I think like everyone who played the game, I dropped down to Hyrule and I immediately tried building a car, right? I glued the wheels on directly to the wood so that they wouldn't like rock, and I just stood there like a fucking fool. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I fixed it. And then after 20 minutes of fucking around, I went forward 10 feet, hit a tree, realized I couldn't drive it, and then just walked the rest of the way.
That was literally me, because they give you wheels and fans, but they don't give you a steering stick for a while for some stupid fucking reason. So okay, I built
what's your opinion on the...
I built my Chuckmobile Mark 1, drive 4 feet forward, it turns a little to the left because of a rock, goes in the middle of the fucking like plains, runs out of battery, and just sits there. I just thought, if I just ran to the next town, I would have made it there, but by the time it took me to build this garbage.
So what's your opinion on the gacha system for getting the Zonai stuff?
I mean... You get a lot of it. It's kind of dumb. I have no idea why they would do that other than just Japan is so gacha addicted they gotta throw it literally everywhere.
So my opinion on that is that's one of those like, to sound like the most obnoxious like video game intellectual YouTuber bullshit, this is an undernoticed mechanic.
Okay.
What I really like about that, so the optimal solution to like 99% of the fucking puzzles is just strap a rocket to the bitch, right? Like you just put a rocket on it and you launch the Korok into space, right? So the gacha things serve a couple of purposes. So okay, I'm exploring the Sky Islands and I find a thing. I'm like, oh sweet. I'm immediately like, oh man, I wonder what's in there. So I go over there, I dump all of my batteries into it. And then I do, boom. And it comes down with a bunch of shit. I'm going over there. I'm mashing the A button, which mashing the A button to collect stuff is fun. That's why you collect the Poes by having like 50 of them when they could have just put, 1 grand Poe here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing that. I'm mashing, and then I'm just waiting. I'm like, oh shit, here it comes. Ding. It's like, oh sweet. What is this new item? Oh cool, a hover stone. This is completely fucking useless. But like, doing that, so I get a limited amount, right? And I can't control what I get, but I have like 5 different ones. I found that like, okay, I found the spring, right? And I would use the spring for a ton of shit. Eventually I run out. And now all of a sudden I'm like, shit, okay, I need to start getting creative. So then I start taking the hot air balloon and I'm like, shit, I don't have any fire. What if I just put a cooking pot on the ground? Oh, it creates fire. It works. And it forced me to get more creative with my things. And if I didn't want to deal with that shit, yeah, I just teleport back and I put a bunch more batteries in there and get some more springs.
Just start gambling, start cranking the fucking lever. So
I really, really like the way that they did that. I thought that was very smart. And same with like all the little weird distractions in the game, right? Like we have Addison and his signs and the Koroks and all these little things where it's just like, hey, do you want to fuck around? No? Okay, yeah, you don't have to right now. Just leave him alone. Like you come back later. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to talk about with the building things is that the first thing I tried to build once I had like a bunch of parts was like when I finally got a steering stick, I was like, yes, the whole fucking like the mechanic is fully open to me now, right? Rather than just making these stupid like things that drive forward and then just crash into something, I can finally play the video game. So I fucking get the steering stick and I get a glider and I think I will create a plane. I will fucking Wright Brothers this shit. That was the first thing I wanted to do. But getting a glider to fly was a lot harder than I thought. Because like, if it has a little running start with a couple of fans, you can get like basically a little hovercraft going, right? Until like the glider eventually runs out. But getting it off the ground itself without like a ledge or something.
I am so glad that you brought this up. I felt like such a fucking moron with it. These things humbled me. This game humbled me.
So, let me tell you about my Wright Brothers experiment. I got the glider, a steering stick on top of it. I'm like, okay, let's get 2 fans going. Okay, this doesn't go anywhere. This is a stupid idea. I don't know, I'll get on like this little rock first, get a little ledge. I just plot forward like an idiot and just hit my head on the fucking ground. I'm like, okay, hang on. What I need is more fans to get more forward momentum. So I set 2 additional fans on the 2 fans in the back. All right, go forward. And like it slides on the ground a little bit, but it's not getting up in the air. I'm like, of course, it needs upward draft. So I flip it upside down, slap like 3 fans underneath the glider. So there are 5 fans. So there are 7 fans.
Give it uppies.
There are 7 fucking fans. Because I have 1 battery, right? So I'm like, all right, I got this. And it works. It finally like achieves lift. I'm like, yes, it works. It works. And the battery just immediately depletes. I just fall off the ground and lose like 3 hearts. just like, it's working. Oh shit! And just fucking fall and like almost die.
I'm a genius. Oh no.
So I felt so fucking stupid when people found out like the hoverbike fucking schematic where you just slap 2 fans and a steering stick and you can just fly through the entire fucking game. Because I spent so much time,
I call it.
I call it the hovercuck. The fucking hovercuck is like, okay, I noticed this about the game design. I think you did too. Anything you can slap fans on to give you flight runs out of time. Gliders only go for so long. Those big floating cubes in the sky, fun fact, you can put fans on the steering stick on those too, run out of time. But for
oh my god. That would have made everything so much easier if I would have I did so many sky puzzles, Aleks, by gluing fans onto those and like hitting them and then and then taking it off and putting it on the other side. I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you would have steering stick on those too. But like, those run out of time. Steering stick 2 fans never runs out of time. So you have like, it's cheap, it's tiny, it like is easier to control, and like it's permanent flight. I actually wonder if they're ever going to nerf that, because it feels like they put out of their way to make sure you couldn't fly permanently, but players found a way to do it anyway. Because eventually you start getting, like, if you explore underground, that's where you get all your battery upgrades. But, like, what I was doing one night is I sat all night and sit till 4 in the fucking morning, and I mapped the entire depths out. I got the entire goddamn underground filled out with every single light route. And while doing that, there's a lot of chests down there, a lot of things down there, a lot of bosses and shit down there. I had so many fucking crystallized charges. I just had this massively fucking super huge, mega turbo thick, dummy thick battery. So that combined with an armor set I found that lowered the fucking cost of that thing, I just literally couldn't stop flying. I think I broke the game at that point. What I kind of like though about doing that is one of the things you can do is you can slap a light onto your little hovercuck to see in the dark, because it's still dark under there until you have all the light routes. But
yeah,
what people did, my friend told me, he's like, hey, stop. Let's go waste your battery. I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said, open your inventory. I'm like, what? Throw a bright bloom at it. And I'm like, what? And I throw a little bright bloom at the thing, and that gives you a big AoE field of light around you as you fly. Think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't understand the point of like the glow mechanic where you can make yourself glow, and I'm like, I could just throw a bright bloom at literally anything, and like if I just throw one at my shield and then pick it up, it works.
Yeah,
like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what they expected this to be. I guess maybe for caves.
I remember. Oh man, speaking of the depths, so like, here's one big problem I have with Tad like having a life outside of just playing video games, working, dying, and playing video games and schizoing out. I beat the game. He hasn't yet.
No, dude. I've got 120 hours in the game, and I have only done 2 of the dungeons. One of them I found on fucking accident. There was an area where people were telling me it was like a really cool area, but you're supposed to go to it like super late in the game. But I went to this area, and I guess I'll explain what I did, because I thought I was the smartest cookie on the planet for this. So it is a little bit of a spoiler, but there's a giant island that is covered in a constant thunderstorm, right?
Mm-hmm.
I managed to get over there, and I think I was flying, or I was using like some kind of prototype chuckmobile, and I just kept devouring batteries to get it to fly over there. And I jumped through, and somehow I didn't get struck by lightning. And I landed, and I'm like, oh, cool. Okay, I can't wait for these clouds to disappear. Oh, no.
Oh, no.
So it was completely gray. I couldn't see a goddamn thing. But then I'm like, wait a second. I see raindrops on the ground. That means that there's ground there. So I explored the entirety of Thunderbreak Island. I couldn't see a fucking thing except the raindrops. And the raindrops let me know if I was going to jump off the edge or not. And it would be scary because sometimes there would be a drop of like 3 feet and I wouldn't see raindrops. I'd just be like, all right, well, here we go. And I managed to find my way to the temple entrance from there. I found the shrine, and it's like, you need hearts to get in here. And I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't get any stamina upgrades for the first 20 hours of the game because I needed to know what was behind this door.
So I have a fun bit about the Thunder Island as well. So when I first found Thunder Island, I'm like, okay, there's a big storm cloud over there. I gotta see what's over there. So I just naturally like jump off of like a tower and glide over into it the normal way. And I couldn't see shit. So I'm doing the thing where you like let go of the glider and then open it up to make, distance and whatever. And I decided to, like, I'm really high up. I'll just fucking dive bomb a little bit. And Link just fucking immediately hits the fucking deck and dies. Because I couldn't see the piece of the ground in the fucking gray ass clouds. This was early on in the game when I had like no fucking hearts. So I just fucking dead. So now I was humiliated because this all happened during my stream, and I was angry that I will not be bested by a fucking grayscale. So I come at another angle. I'll go up from under it. So I get up to like this. It's kind of like above like the jungly area where there's like Gleok by it. Spoilers: Gleoks are not as scary as you think they are. I'll talk about them in a fucking minute. I'm like, okay, I have an idea. I have a spring zone eyepiece from I got from a capsule machine, and I fucking just get on there and fucking Wile E. Coyote launch myself into the air, and something weird happens. When I flew up into the air from underneath the storm clouds didn't load in yet, so I could see everything briefly. I'm like, I looked to the left, looked to the right, and I like, because you know how like it starts to load in the fog as you're getting closer to it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm just like, oh shit, this is my fucking chance. And so I just immediately book it through like the great because I see like the formation of like the fucking
storm
architecture
coming in, yeah.
Yeah, so I immediately like while it's coming in, I'm like, I remember where this wall is, and I run through like I can't see shit because I remembered where it was from like while I was flying in before it loaded in, and got to a little shrine in the middle of the fucking temple. I felt so fucking like not smart, but I'm like, I feel like I didn't earn this, but I'm gonna take it anyway.
I feel like, so it seems like in this game, so remember in Breath of the Wild, everyone remembers Eventide Island, right? Because it was the shrine where you go in there and they strip you of everything, and everyone kind of has their own version of how they beat that shrine. It
Yeah.
feels like that's what Thunderbreak Island is in this game, because everyone I've talked to has been like, yeah, no, I managed to get in here because I threw apples and made a trail to like find where I could go.
That's
and all
funny
this
because
shit.
there's a maze. Spoilers. There's a maze where a guy is leaving notes behind, and he leaves acorns through the maze to mark his fucking trail. So that guy was as smart as an NPC in a Zelda game.
That's great.
Now, I want to talk about something. When I was playing through the game, when I was doing the dungeons, now you've beaten a dungeon, right?
When you say a dungeon, you're talking like a main story
The
dungeon?
main story dungeons where you hang out with the amigo.
The amigo?
Your little amigos. Your little party member.
Oh, I thought you were talking about... By the way, I scanned all my amiibos, and I didn't get shit.
Yeah, I said,
Besides man.
I said amigo, not amiibo, silly and toddler.
What happens if you scan one of the amiibos and you get like you get like a Link outfit item, and then you get it in the depths? Do you just get money?
No, you just have a dupe. You just have more of them.
Oh, okay.
So,
anyway, I did 2 temples so far. I did a secret temple, and I did the Rito temple that the game was like really pushing you to go towards. The Rito temple was cool. Like half the temple was getting there, which felt so okay, Aleks. I feel so fucking valid right now.
yeah.
Okay? My biggest complaints about Breath of the Wild is that the dungeons and the boss did not really like care about the world around them.
Yeah.
Right? Like they just you went up to the top of Death Mountain and you went inside the elephant or whatever, or like
Salamander.
the lizard or whatever. And I was like, okay, the salamander's kind of cool. I climb around, whatever. In the Rito one, I had to climb up a persistent part of the world that I could still interact with after the dungeon because it's part of the game. Half the dungeon was getting all the way up there, and then like the temperature was getting colder, right? And I had all these things I had to deal with, and there was like it was like climbing a mountain in the normal game where I see shit and I want to explore it, right?
And jumping off of the fucking ships was like oddly satisfying. It gave me like older Zelda vibes, right? Of like
It
just
did feel a
platforming,
lot
platforming.
like playing Skyward. Where
And like
it
the
felt like a
boss.
puzzle. Yeah.
The boss itself was like the most classic Zelda boss out of all of them in that fucking game, dude.
Yeah, the most classic one. You know, what bosses that fucking suck.
Yeah, okay. You fucking. What I mean is that the way you fly around with a gimmick and take his weak points out. You know what I mean? But like he's also like really easy because I think he's designed to be the first one. He's more cinematic than anything. But what I want to talk about is. Okay. How did you get to the dungeon? Because I did it differently. I didn't have my hoverbike yet. I didn't develop that till I was in the depths, right? Until I was mapping it all out.
So what I did was I think I did it the intended way. I climbed up. I went to. I remembered that there was shattered bridges all over that area, right, from the first game. And so I went and I found those bridges and I climbed those up to get to like the top of the tower because I didn't want to just climb the rock. And I did that, and then I just scaled each piece. I methodically went through and like killed all the dudes and just had like a fun Zelda time. Took little breaks to do on little side like puzzles to get useless items. Classic Zelda. And then I just boom, 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 got all the way up there. I did, however, get to the temple itself and didn't realize that there was a tiny circle I had to activate. So I went and I found all of like the puzzle things I had to do and couldn't figure out how to activate them until I like went back to the top and saw that there was a thing I was supposed to touch. So I solved the dungeon before I actually started it.
See, what I ended up doing is I was doing it like normal. Then there was a part where there was a collapsing bridge, and I just fell with the fucking rubble. I didn't die because I have my glider, but I'm just like, God damn it! All right, I'll just time rewind it and ride back up. The rock that fell on the ground basically stumbled and rumbled all the way around while it hit the ground. So while I get on it, I just fucking and just fall off of it as I get Gmod slapped around, and I'm just like. Well, now I can, like, if I bring it back down and try to bring it back up, it just goes up to like where I unpaused it, right? I'm like, well, gotta do that all over again. Cool, thanks, Nintendo. You know what? Fuck you, Nintendo. I'm gonna do this my way now. Fuck you. You gotta cheat me like that? I'll show you, old man. So I get to the little entrance of like, or like go across the broken bridge and like zigzag upwards. I look around and I just say, fuck this. Open up inventory. Springboard. Jump up. Get to the rock. Climb up. Get to like a little edge. Springboard. Jump all the way up. Climb up to a rock. Look above me. Ascend. I skipped like half of that bridge bullshit. I just said,
Hell
fuck
yeah.
you.
That's
Also,
sick as hell.
also, I get the best part of it. Before I made the hovercuck, I created the chuck machine. Because I had the sneed machine and the chuck machine. The sneed machine was me with my fucking like 5 different fucking my 7 fans and a glider with a steering stick, right? That was a failure. But the chuck machine was surprisingly decent. It was a little plank of wood, or a little plank of like a little metal like ball, a little metal square. Then it was a steering stick, a hot air balloon, a fucking fire emitter, and a fan. So I created this slightly controllable hot air balloon that would like move at like 1 mile an hour forward, but like 10 miles per hour up. So it was kind of bad, but it got me a lot of up distance. So once again, I got to kind of just get really, 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 really high up and then glide across the rest of the dungeon because all in the sky.
So to circle back to using the fucking glider, so the way that you're supposed to do it and not be a goddamn soft-brained idiot, right? So number one, if you put it on rails, it slides on its own. Didn't realize that till like 50 hours in the game, right? 2, you could just pick it up, drop it, get on top of it in reverse time. So what I did was neither of those things. So what I would do is I would put a spring on the ground.
Yeah.
And then I would pick up the glider and set it on the spring. And I would glue it. And then I would get on top and I couldn't hit the spring. I would have to throw a time bomb on the ground and aim myself so that it didn't murk me. The spring would go off, bounce the thing up in the air, but it's still attached to it, so it's too heavy to fly.
So some real Wile E. Coyote shit.
I would also, by the way, I forgot that I had the ascend ability, so I would have to like climb trees to jump on top of it because Link couldn't climb it.
Now
I'm gonna tell you because I didn't actually mention the other thing that made me feel vindicated, and then I'm gonna tell you about my 2 favorite vehicles that I made.
All right.
So the thing that made me feel vindicated and valid was that 2 of my biggest problems with the game were fixed. One, the bosses and the dungeons weren't integrated into the world. Now they are, at least the 2 that I've fought so far.
Yeah.
The other thing is the Breath of the Wild was kind of meant to emulate like the original Zelda's sense of adventure, but there was no fucking caves. There was a single cave where you kicked a fat ninja down a bottomless pit, and that was it. There was not a single fucking rocky structure in the world. In this game, being able to just see a cave in a mountain feels like so much more fluid and natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
I
being
agree
able to just see holes in the fucking ground in the mountain area. There was a cavern that you could shield surf if you wanted to go down. You could fucking bomb a hole in it and then go through the whole cavern and then bomb a hole at the other end, and like it's just built into the mountain and it makes sense. The only thing that they didn't add to it though was there's still no swimming mechanics. I cannot dive underwater, which made me very sad.
Which is annoying.
That was like the one thing.
Luke can fall down and not float, which pisses me off. Yes, I know you can ultra hand it out, but sometimes it's too far away because the ultra hand doesn't have very far distance, very far range. It does not.
So my two machines that I made, right? I thought I was the smartest, fartiest little cookie on the planet, right? I'm like, oh, I don't want to swim. I'm gonna take the flying glider and put a fan on it, like that fucking meme with Buzz Lightyear in the store. I'm gonna make a glider boat. So I was like, okay, I wonder if this works. Can I make a steamboat? So I had a prototype machine that I made called the mole machine, which is a plank of wood and then the big spinny tires and 2 more planks of wood on the side. So it just claws its way out like a zombie out of the fucking grave. But also I gave it a face out of bananas because it looked like teeth.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm on a lake and I have to get a Korok over to the other side. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to make the mole machine and see if it's flappy hands. Because what I did was there's the main body, and then I had the wheels on it. The wheels were glued so that they wouldn't, first time I fucked it up and the middle was flopping around and the hands were standing still. So I had to fix that. And so I put the hands on it, it wasn't working. It was just flap, 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 flap. And so I was like, wait a second. What if I take the sled item that looks like a shovel and I put it on there so it's got claws? And that actually worked. So I was like, sweet, the test drive worked. I let it run for 2 seconds and it didn't explode. Glue the Korok on it, jump on top of it, get on the control stick, it immediately starts violently shaking and rocking, like jumping out of the water. It fucking bucks me off like a horse, grabs me in its claw, pushes me under, and I go in circles of just puts me underneath it, and I fucking drown.
Okay, so I had a similar thing when I tried to make my very first boat in the tutorial, where I just fucking made a little raft where like 2 logs together and a fucking fan. It drives forward, bumps the wall, knocks me off, pins me against it and like a wall in the water, and I just drown and die. I was like, cool, thanks, Nintendo. So
my second one is, I call this the Hebra Challenger disaster.
Okay.
So it is the most, Patrick, this is the lowest temperature we've ever had for a launch. Did you remember to check the O-rings? No. So again, I had to get one of these stupid fucking Koroks up there. So I'm like, okay, cool, bet. Oh, this is I'm just going to do the obvious one. They gave me some wood. I don't want to use the stone. That's heavy. So I'm going to grab the wooden plank. I'm going to put the flamer thing on it. I'm going to put the hot air balloon, and I'm going to grab the rockets. I'm like, all right, cool. I glue the rockets on and I go. So it turns out the flamer that was heating it was shooting fire out, and the rockets were going so fast that it caught the wood on fire. So I go up, and then immediately I'm like, uh-oh, something's gone wrong, and it fucking explodes. I fall all the way down, the fucking hot air balloon thumps with the Korok on it, and then like flops over to the side of me, and I'm like, this sucks, I hate this so much. So then I was like, I'm not I didn't have any more rockets, right? And I'm like, I'm not gonna build another fucking hot air balloon. So then I decided, fuck this, and I went and I killed all of the trees nearby. I just chopped down these pine trees and made an incredibly long toothpick, and then I glued him at the end of it, turned it upwards, just threw it up there, climbed the mountain, grabbed the top of it, went, here's your fucking friend.
So, I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the first things I built, and you were there in the stream before I went to work that day, where I created the fucking Tower of Babylon out of a bunch of random fucking logs, where I'm just like, how many can I fucking stick together? Because you don't get the glider for a while, actually, when you play this fucking game. So in order to get around everywhere, I just made this big, really long, like, string of fucking logs and tree trunks, and would just pick it up and drag it with me, which would lag the fuck out of the game doing this. I would just like walk around with 10 fucking FPS and just prop this big thing against stuff and then just climb up it to get to places in the tutorial area. I thought it was really funny doing that. One of the things I did when I solved this one puzzle completely incorrectly in a temple. So I won't spell it too hard for you, but what it ended up doing is like, it wanted me to take this thing, put little wheels on it, and drive across this like rail. It was like 5 feet long, would take me literally no time. Doing this puzzle with puzzle in air quotes would take like 5 seconds. But I said, fuck you, Nintendo, I have a better idea. What I end up doing is, I take the fucking item, go across, there's a pit, but it's not like a death pit, it's just like a little pit you can walk in, because it's like an introductory area, you know? You know how game design does that. They don't immediately throw you with a bottomless pit yet. I grab the thing, we use the Ultra Hand, lift it all the way up for a second, then drop it. Quickly climb up the wall, then time rewind the item, and then catch it with the Ultra Hand while it falls back down and just drag it with me and solve the puzzle. I thought it was so smart for just not doing the really simple thing. Another thing I learned...
By the way,
I was
that noise of my can falling earlier, that was my Barbie X Swoon promotional pink lemonade drink. Alex, are you going to see the Barbie movie on July 21st or whenever it comes out? You are a barbarian, aren't you?
Barbarian. No, I'm more of an Oppenheimer style person myself.
Oppenheimer is blowing up in the theaters? Oh my god.
It's right behind me, isn't it?
Just Fat Man sliding into frame.
Oh my god, I can't believe Operation Jap Zapper 9000 was about killing Japanese people. How could this have happened?
Alright, character. So, this is one of my cons in the game. So far, I have not really found any characters that are like, wow, I'm gonna remember this character when the game's over. Except one that people seem to not really like. and that is the dude that holds the signs, Addison.
Addison?
I like him.
So I like him too, because there's this bit. Okay, I had to immediately interject my own Addison story. The puzzles are really simple, right? Put a blog here to stop it from falling over, right? Let me tell you how I was humbled by a sign puzzle. So I immediately like, okay, look, this is a simple Addison puzzle again. I'll put the thing up here, and it falls the other way. I was like, how did this happen? And I look at the bottom of the sign. It doesn't have the little pegs on the bottom this time. It's completely just like a blank stick. So I get creative. I create like a bunch of... I like, okay, I'll take my plank of wood, put 2 more planks of wood on the sides to stop it from falling over. That way it won't fall left, right, or forward. It just falls the complete one way I wasn't blocking. So like, okay, you little fucker. But it doesn't give you like 4 equally sized pieces. So what I end up constructing is this like fucking spider web of random various planks and pulls all in this big like jungle gym shape around the sign. He's like, oh my goodness, it's standing. I would have never thought to do it like that. I was like, yeah, I bet you wouldn't.
Someone pointed this out to me, and I'm like, fuck, dude, that would have been so smart. If they would have made it so that your stupid fucking design stayed there, right?
Yeah.
Like, imagine walking past Hyrule, and you're like, oh yeah, that's when I made the load-bearing coconut one. That was the first one I did, is I took all of my, like, coconuts and mushrooms and glued them into a big, like, stack to hold it up.
Oh my god, I just remembered something else about the characters. So, well, characters are one other thing. So, have you been to Terrytown yet?
Yes.
Have you done the quest there?
Yes, that quest is one of the... I'm gonna keep it real, Alex. That's one of the very few quests I've done in the game that have been like, wow, that was actually a good quest. I can see that being in like a real game.
So like, that one's... I took pictures of it and put it on my little Twitter, because that's where I put my fucking screenshots at. I really liked that quest. It was really simple. It's basically just a bunch of little fetch quests all together. But like the payoff with it, where like all of you are riding like the hot air balloon, look at the sunset together. I'm like, this was like a surprisingly nice little quest. And there's this thing afterwards that I'm gonna kind of spoil you, but I really want to talk about because it's really, really nice. It's such a little thing. May I?
Is it the thing where afterwards you're working with him to get photos of things, and he asks for a photo of someone?
Yes, it is exactly that. I was curious because he only mentions it offhand. It's not a quest, but he mentions that he would like to see a picture. And so while I'm in that area, I take a picture and bring it back. And when he asks for a photo of like the other object, and I bring it up, and he's like, "Oh, that's awesome! Oh, I'm glad that's going well. So thank you very much for that, man." And that's it. It was just a little extra line of dialogue, but it meant so much to me. I really, really liked that.
Did you take a photo of it when the sandstorms were happening?
No, I actually I couldn't find her until the town was back to normal.
I'm gonna have to do that on my game. I'm gonna have to take, if in case it's, I mean, I guess we'll keep it pretending that it's not obvious what the quest is about, right?
Yeah.
But I'll have to take a photo of them when it's sandy and see if he has any other reaction.
But you haven't been to the desert at all, so I don't want to talk about the desert too much. I liked it a lot though. My favorite area in general. I would have to think, because you haven't done everything yet. But my favorite...
Well, here, let me explain why I liked Addison.
Oh, right? yeah. Sorry, I distracted by talking about Terrytown, how much I fucking love Hudson. Son and done.
So there's a lot of like fun kind of one-off characters. They're just like Zelda weirdos, right?
Yeah.
Like classic RPG adventure game NPCs. You kind of give them like one thing that they're weirdly into. Right, and then you kind of remember them, like all the people with the stupid like mushroom outfits.
Yeah.
So the thing I liked about Addison, at first I'm like, okay, whatever. He's just a weird guy that's like kind of like the Japanese like idolization of like his boss, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, whatever, like this kind of thing. And then I realized, I was like, wait a second. Almost all of these signposts have a pointy bottom, and this guy is like so inept that he doesn't realize he's supposed to pierce it into the ground, right?
Yeah.
And that's why he's like, oh, I never would have thought of that. He's making things 500 times more complicated than they need to be. And then I realized the reason he's out here is so that he can go off and do quote unquote important work for the company, but also not get in the way. But
Yep.
Hudson didn't want to be a dickhead to him, so he's like, I'm going to give you it's putting your kid's art up on the fridge is what he's doing. It
So,
was good. That's why I like him.
yeah. So, what I was going to say is, what was out of any of the puzzles, have you ever just completely scammed one? Because I have one that I completely fucking ignored, and I really want to talk about it.
I'll tell you right now there was a puzzle where I had to move a mine cart through like a big area, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a big spinny thing. I was like, this is really fucking annoying. And I was like, you know what? Fuck this, man. How can I? And then I realized I had a rocket shield, and I was like, wait, so you could trivialize 90% of the shrines by coming in with a rocket on your shield.
Yeah,
I was like, I do
too.
not want to deal with this.
I learned that only at the end of the game. I was like, oh, well, I wish I knew this fucking 80 hours earlier. So,
my favorite shrines by far are the ones where they strip you of everything. Those are the only shrines that I finished and then immediately went back in to try doing it a different route. There was one where you had to infiltrate like a whole thing. And I did my first round, I did it normal. And my second round, I was like, all right, I'm just not going to pick up the bow. And I'm going to see if I can still do this one. And it was actually really fun to do like mini challenge runs like that.
My favorite shrine is easily the fucking built for rails one. Not because of me, but because I was on it for so fucking long that it was fucking embarrassing. I think about that shrine a lot because, okay, I'm like, all right, make the fucking the fucking, you know, a little plank, glide across. Okay, now put the things to the side to make you not fall off. Go across. Make the things fall off, but then put another bottom so you stumble around. But then there was the very last one where you had to go like a really big long roller coaster to the end bit.
Oh, Aleks, that's the exact same one I was talking about where I got mad and just jumped to the gap.
So I couldn't get this to work right, and I'm glad you couldn't either. It makes you feel a little less embarrassed. But I was like, okay, I know. First, I'll create the TIE Fighter. I create this TIE Fighter looking thing, put the fans on, and immediately get stuck on the turn. I said, okay, back to the drawing board. I thought, okay, I grabbed the one I previously wrote on, took it apart, and I'm like, okay, I have extra pieces. I can make this work. I try again, get caught on the turn. Try again, slip off the turn. Try it again, get caught on the turn. Try it again, make the turn, get to the next set of rails, fall off after turning again, and I go, fuck. What does Nintendo want from me with this one? I just couldn't figure out what the perfect shape was for this one. It was so oddly specific to get it to work. Eventually, I get it to a point where it gets far enough that I just jump and glided the rest of the way to the fucking end. I hated that puzzle so much. Let me tell you about one that I cheated, because I really want to talk about this. So,
okay,
in the sky, there's a lot of those where you just pick up the crystal and bring it to the fucking shrine, right?
Yeah.
There's one where it's like, please take this crystal all the way over here. And like I had to like cross this like 3 different gaps and like do a bunch of switches and shit. I just said, I really don't feel like doing this right now. So what I did is I got off my inventory, grabbed 3 gliders, glued them together, put them aside. Open my inventory, 3 more gliders, glue them together, glue them to the other 3 gliders, because you can't put them all at once. There's not enough space. Open my inventory, 3 more gliders, glue them together, stick them to the other 6 gliders. I now have 9 gliders. I made a glider bridge and just put them between the 2 really far away islands and just walked the crystal over to the end and solved the puzzle.
Beast. Oh, did you find the shrine where you do the fucking the final level of Halo where you get in the car and it's like it's like falling down around you?
I've done like this really long racetrack that I really liked. It was actually a really fun little bit. That might be the same. It was
pretty fantastic. It was like there was like a bunch of dudes with like electric bows, and you had like a block of metal and 4 tires.
Yeah. I like that one a lot. There's one in the desert that I did that you haven't found yet, but it actually. So this is I'm going to type of something interesting about the desert. The desert changed my perspective of the game and how the vehicles work, because initially the desert has this thing over it, and flying with the hovercuck, it basically made me fucking ignore it. I didn't give a shit. The game kind of wants you to fly around with a glider and shit, not necessarily with the hovercuck to you know, deal with the fucking sandstorm. But what I ended up finding was a shrine where it gives you the sled, a steering stick, and a fan, and wants you to drive around and glide across the sand for the dungeon of the shrine. And I'm gliding around. I'm like, hold on, this controls really well. I'm fucking strafing across the sands and like fucking sniping, stop driving for a second while I'm still gliding across from the momentum and shooting the little like dudes. I'm like, wait, hold on. I like this vehicle a lot. I got an idea. So I instead just spend like 10 minutes in the desert instead of flying, just sliding around on my own little fucking like sand hovercraft. And it was like so much more enjoyable doing that. And then I found an upgrade for it. Once again, I gotta talk about a little spoiler thing that you haven't been to yet, but I really, really, really want to talk about it.
Sure, go ahead. Just yeah, like, I mean, we're talking, the way that we played the game was like completely different, right? So like anyone that picks up the game can end up just going into completely different areas. Like I immediately I heard that there was pirates in the fishing village. So like I beelined there as soon as I started the game, got my ass whooped, and then went to like the jungle and went counterclockwise across the entire map.
Oh man.
And then like doubled back, went back and forth and just kept fucking around.
Another thing I like doing was another simple vehicle. This is before I had the hovercuck. This is before I was hoverpilled. Was I made a little raft with just a little square plank of wood, a steering stick, and one fan. And again, it's just like, it's so oddly satisfying just to drive around on the water while like running past Los Alfos and shit. And I was like solving this little like puzzle where you had to find the guy in the cave, right? I was just following the bright blooms. Like it just felt satisfying going through the ocean.
I did that one. Did you notice that there's rip currents in the ocean?
No, I didn't actually.
There's rip currents because I was like following the guy and I'm like, oh, why is that bright blue moving so fast? Oh, wait a second. I looked at the water and then I looked off in the middle of the ocean and I'm like, holy shit, coming towards the beach, they have actual like currents that on the ocean in the real life, like water will come in, right? And then under the waves, you know, water's coming forward, hitting it and then curling back. And that's a rip current where if you get caught in that, you know, you get pushed forward and then you get sucked back out into the ocean. And that will happen to you on like the coastlines and shit.
But the spoiler was for the vehicle. I really want to talk about this. So
yeah.
You know the Yiga clan is still in this game, obviously. They're back. And you can find the little forts, both underground and above ground. And above ground of their forts, you can actually save these people and get the Yiga costume. And if you get all 3 pieces, you can disguise yourself as a Yiga clan member, and they won't be hostile to you. What I really like about this is that all those random NPCs who are in disguise will be like, hey, what are you doing out here just in the open like that? You're gonna blow my cover. Get out of here. And they'll have like little lines for it. But remember their fort?
In the Gerudo Canyon from the first game?
Yes.
Yeah.
You can enter the fort as a member of the Yiga clan, or so they think you are anyway. And when you're
so it's like a miniature town.
Yes.
Right? But you can only get in there as Yiga. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's like a little mini town. It doesn't have a fast travel... Well, I mean, it technically does. You have a fast travel point to it at the end of it. But when you're in there, there's a shop there that sells a fuck ton of arrows, which stopped my fucking problem of never having enough fucking arrows. This fucking random-ass Yiga guy sells like billions of it. You can buy a bunch of bananas. There's a guy that just sells a big spiked fucking like barricade thing for like 100 rupees. And when you're in there... There are these 2 Yiga mechanic guys, because you've been in the depths and you've seen them with their buildings, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the Yiga are building things like you are, but where you have the cheat of just gluing things together with your big funny hand, they are manually just constructing this shit. And you can talk to these guys, and one guy will sell you his fucking, what was it called? Like the Gloom Dredger Mark III, which is this big, like, fucking armored up, spiked up fucking 3-wheeler car fucking thing. You can just drive around everywhere. You can buy it from him for 999 rupees. So I immediately did, of course. And another guy who sells you the Hover Doom Mark II, or Mark III, whatever the fuck he calls it. It is a hovercraft with like 6 fucking shield walls and like 4 fans and a steering stick. And what's fucked up is I really like driving the Hover Doom a lot. Because I went from like oh, driving around the sand is awesome to driving like this really fast one. It felt like I was fucking pod racing because not only was I going really fast, but I was just a big hitbox because I had all these spikes around me.
You could just slam into shit.
Yeah, so I'm just like, yeah, I'm doing it. I fucking strafe to the side and just fucking smack a bacaba. And he goes, like fucking flying. Like, yeah, this is awesome. The Yiga clan made me appreciate building things that weren't the fucking hover cuck all the fucking time. But like,
I am
even
so
more
glad
fucked up
about that.
No, what's even more fucked up though is that after I bought the machines, that they'll sit outside the little fort where you can just immediately drive. Obviously, I'm like, heh, I'm smart about this. I'll save these to my auto build recipe by attaching a banana to them because I can't, take it apart and put it back together and have it count. That doesn't count. But I take a banana, slap it on. It's in the auto build. Favorite it. I can now bring out the hover doom for like 27 zonite whenever I want. Then someone told me I'm an idiot. You were never supposed to buy those. I'm like, huh? When you're in their little like workshop and they're building the machines, they're working on the machines and they're missing one piece, right? So the guy has this gloom treasure, whatever the fuck, and it's missing a wheel. You attach the wheel onto it, and he's like, hey, don't do that. I'm working on it. I don't need you fucking in here messing up my designs. But that puts in your auto build. Now you have the recipe, so you don't have to spend 999 rupees. I'm like, oh. Well, I like my banana one better. So all I have is like
really smart.
So like that's what you're supposed to do, and not give the Yiga clan fucking 1,099 rupees. But when I ended up doing that anyway, and what's funny is that slapping the banana onto it in the auto build just adds 3 additional fucking zonite cost to it. So I just have this like mildly shittier fucking version of their cars. But anyway, after doing that, I was just driving around in the fucking sand, and I really like the desert because of the Yiga clan fucking Hover Doom Mark III. It is just really, really fun sliding across, and I ran into a fucking Mulduga, and he fucking like jumped out of the sand and like broke my Hover Doom, and I made my personal fucking mission to beat his ass for ruining my fucking Hover Doom Mark III.
You dented my car!
You dented my car! Oh, it's the Dan versus where like there's a little dent in his fucking hover doom. He's just Muldugas! I made it my mission.
I want you to
kill
know,
all of them.
When I go to the desert, I am going to make myself a fucking Cadillac out of like sleds that give it like a front windshield, right?
Yeah.
And the fucking this was my biggest complaint about when I saw people using the hovercuck. I'm like, listen, this is a game where if you play everything optimally, you're gonna be done with it and you're gonna be fucking bored really quick. The amount of shit that you can do in the game, if you're just going beelining to like the main quest, you could probably beat this game in like 2 hours.
Yeah, probably
like,
with a hoverbike and enough upgrades from the crystals. Oh yeah, totally.
Like building your own stuff, which honestly, by the way, yeah. So he's talking about the auto build and all that. I'm 120 something hours in the game. I still don't have that because I didn't follow that one main quest for 30 minutes. I don't have the last power.
I stumbled upon it and I thought it was really fucking funny. That was my dog again. But I thought it was really funny just finding it without the main quest. They always have dialogue for it like, huh? You already found X? Whoa, Link, that's crazy. You're such a good hero. Here's a Snickers bar, kid. You earned it.
Ding. Actually, that's not enough. Here's another shittier Snickers bar.
And here's 20 rupees.
Fucking bomb.
Speaking of bombs, let me tell you about my biggest fuck up. It's so funny. It was so funny. I fucking Looney Tunes my ass in the most embarrassing fucking way ever. I'm in the underground, but near like the Death Mountain, so it's still like really hot, right? You already know where this is going. I'm like, a group of bokoblins. I'll take them out. I'll put a bomb on my arrow. Aha! Because the minute I pulled,
hot, it exploded.
Yes, the minute I draw the bow with the bomb on it, I just died. It just exploded. I'll solve this. Game over.
You might as well. Oh, I did have a Wile E. Coyote moment when I was in the underground. I had like a little speedster bike that I stole from the Yiga clan, and I drove towards one of them. He curved to the left. I went right into the fucking wall. He threw the He did the Wile E. Coyote black spot on the wall, and it humbled me.
When I fucking got the monocycle, which is like the first things I found from the Yiga clan, I was like, this is awesome! I got like a little bike! I hated that fucking machine, dude. It never stands upright, so you can never get in the damn thing. And then when you actually finally drive it, it's just going, you know, doing little fucking Gmod fucking sound effects. You tumbling around everywhere. It drives like shit. I hate the monocycle. I need my Hover Doom Mark III. It's the only vehicle for me. There's my favorite, you have the little forts down there. Because I have a favorite one. They're all relatively similar. Just like a bunch of little fucking Japanese buildings that are red and like guys flying around, right?
The first one of those I found, I didn't know what it was, right? So I went in there and I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. All right, bye. I didn't even notice that there was a Yiga guy there. And then the second one I found, I went in there and I beat the guy and I went ding, dun dun dun, psh, and it opened up the rewards thing. And then I went and I collected bananas and I left and I forgot to get the rewards and I don't know which fucking one it was. So I have to like go down there and hunt for it because I have no idea which one I'm missing the schematic for now.
So my favorite of the forts is I was just flying around in the depths on my little hover bike. This is when I was post hoverpilled, because at this point I was just flying around just getting all the light routes. So I have a little medal for doing that, by the way. You get a little chivo for it. And when I was doing that, I just looked down and like, oh hey, Ziga Camp Fort. Good lord, what is happening down there? There's this fucking, there are like 4 spinning lasers all over the fucking place. There's like a little flame emitter, and there's this one Yiga guy just going, driving around on a train track in a little fucking like choo-choo train he built with spikes on it. And he is just fucking around, going in like a little loop and over and over and over again in this little fucking fort, while he's being protected by like 4 automatic laser beam turrets. I'm like, well, I have to kill this one, because it was drawing so much of my fucking attention. It was so silly. Every single time I'm in the fucking depths or just anywhere, I'll just see some weird thing in the distance and say, good lord, what is happening in there? Because it'd be like, when I first went across the big bridge and just saw the big giant dragon, I'm just like, nope. Just fucking left. So I was terrified of Gliaks initially, but I want to come back to this thing I said earlier. Gliaks are actually not that scary. In fact, I think they're actually one of the easier. They're easier than Lionels, because
once you have the equipment, if you have like the dragon shards for the appropriate one, it's a lot easier. So you have to have like a high enough damage item, or you're never gonna get them.
I don't know what you're talking about with the dragon thing. What I did is I did something stupider. I got a springboard, right? And I have now broken the Gliak fight. What I did was not even spring myself off the springboard. I would just jump off of it, bullet time mode. Eyeball, 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 eyeball. They drop down dead, walk up, smack them 3 loops of the auto combo, run back up, jump up, bullet time, eyeball, 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 walk up, beat the shit out of him, dead. I started skipping phase 2 on all the Gliaks. And so the phase 2s are actually kind of cool. Like the ice one will make a big ice storm, and he'll drop down these big ice like platforms, like these big ice spikes that you can climb on, reverse time, fly up into the air above the ice storm, and then snipe him out of the sky. That's really cool. So anyway, I started skipping it by just killing them too fast. And
that's the game lets you do that, which like you can ruin yourself by optimizing the fun out of it. Right?
Yeah, and I figured this out. I'm sure there's even more optimal things you can do with this. I've seen people just make fucking laser death robots that just burn everything down. But
that's how I did my first Gliak fight. Is that I was like, this dude's gonna be so rough, so I made a bunch of those little carts that and they ram you. And I took all of my like really good weapons and glued them to the forehead of them to make them into little Doombas, little Roombas with knives. And they ran over and he just flapped, hit him with his tail, and they all died. And I reloaded my save.
So once I knew, I was in the depths, I fought a King Gliak that was like corrupted. And once I beat that without taking any damage, I'm like, okay, I think I'm at the point where I can go fight the final boss now. I think I'm good enough at the game at this point. So I quickly finished all the main quest, finished exploring the depths, and just went to go beat the fucking final boss, who I spoiled myself on, not from Twitter, not from a YouTube thumbnail, not from you, not from our chat, not from my friends, not from anyone, but from myself. because one of the early things I did when I only had about 5 hearts, I just thought, wait, there's all these chasms and shit. What about the one under the castle? I wonder where that one's down there. There's no way Ganondorf's under the most obvious one. Anyway, so here's how I spoiled the final boss for myself. So I went down in there, and I just kept going deeper, and just kept going deeper and deeper than any. It went further than any of the other depths ever went. And so as you get deeper and deeper, the enemy starts scaling up and up. Where I fought a silver Lionel with only 5 fucking hearts, and I beat it. So I got like. He drops like a 55 damage horn for your weapons. I was hoarding that thing on my fucking weapon for like the entire game. Because I earned that so early on in the fucking game, dude. I saved it only for like a couple of bosses and then some. But I get through all of this shit, get to the end, the music starts swelling. There's like this big drop off pit. I'm like, I don't know where the fuck I am, bro. I'm fucking scared right now. I'm 5 foot. Where the fuck am I, man? And when I get down there and the cutscene plays, I'm like, oh. So that's where this game was going. Okay, cool. I guess I just spoiled myself on that part because the cutscene happened. So I fucked myself over because I was too inquisitive for my own nature.
Hoisted upon your own petard.
Oh my god, I have to talk about something else too. So I went to the Great Plateau, was like one of the earliest things I found. Because it's like, oh shit, I know that building. Wait, I'm in the... And as soon as I hit the ground, it says the Great Plateau. I walk and find a little shrine, walk out into the woods, and you and fucking Veggie were there. Not you. You guys were there for the second time. The first time I did it was with my other friends, and the hands showed up. When I'm like walking through the forest, and then the music, that the sky turns red, the music hits, and a bunch of fucking hands come out of the ground. They just start grabbing you and start draining all your health away. I'm like, oh shit. I'm just shooting up with bows and arrows, but when I shoot one, another one just swoops to the side and grabs me. I'm just fucking terrified to fucking shit. I climb up a tree and just wait for them to despawn. I had no idea how to fucking deal with it, because like, even when I shot one in the eye, the other one would just come and get me, and you can't run away from them because they run faster than you do, which is so fucking terrifying. I love the hands.
First one I found, dude, I was going to like it was like just south of Hyrule Castle or something, and I was like, oh, I'm just exploring, and I'm like, oh fuck, wow, it Blood Moon came on early, huh? And then I saw it form, and it started chasing me from really far away. And I was like, I tried to throw a bomb at it and missed, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna start climbing this rock, and like start going up and trying to swipe at me, and I like jump out of the way. I'm like, get me the fuck out of here!
So then I actually went back because I was mad that I died, but too afraid of them because I thought they were too high level, like an ambush thing. I come back, and that's when you were there for the first time. You get invaded by Dark Spirit fucking Phantom Ganon. I lost my fucking mind. Where like after you beat the hands, and just like, oh, he's in this game right fucking here, and it just starts fucking swinging at you. He's not too hard to fight. The hands are actually way harder than he is, because you can't flurry jump away from the hands, bruh. You can't not really beat the game against the hands, alright? You have to play the game against the hands.
When I fought Phantom Ganon, I kept thinking he was going to do some Dark Souls shit where like he would swing the sword and then like track me and do like a 4-hit combo.
Yeah.
Once I realized he wasn't really... Have you gotten the Oni Club from him?
Yes, I've gotten all of his weapons, I think.
Yeah, the first one I killed had that, and I was like, whoa, I don't even recognize this shit. So anyway, I put a mushroom on it.
I had a Gloom sword for my first one, but I set that silver like Lionel horn, and I had this like 80 damage weapon just in my fucking pocket, hoarding over it like a fucking goblin, waiting for the one day that this one boss that pisses me off is gonna get his fucking asshole torn open.
This one red bokoblin knocks me off of my horse, and he's gonna fucking regret it.
Fucking, I loved that, and one thing I'll bring back is like, the enemy variety in 1 is like 5 enemies. There are so many more in this game. It made me so happy. When I saw a like, I popped off.
Each variant is different, right? Like the reds, the blues, the blacks, and the silvers, and probably the golds, but I haven't found a gold yet.
I think they
all have different things.
If there's a master quest, they'll probably save for the master quest.
Yeah, I hope they do something like the you didn't do the Master Sword trials in the first game, right?
Yeah, I was kind of out of Breath of the Wild at that point.
I loved those. They were all just a series of reset. I've honestly thought about just taking my inventory, selling everything, and beginning the game, quote unquote, fresh. My favorite enemy is, I think, your least favorite enemy, the Frost Talus.
Look, Look. My favorite enemy might be the pebblet, the little talus.
I call those teeny talus.
I just love. I remember the very first time I ran into one. I didn't have a club weapon, so I hit him like ding, ding, It just fucking like clocked me for 1 damage. I'm like, okay, fine. I get fair enough. I'll just walk away. Whatever. Bye. I just leave the little fucker alone until you told me. Just flip him over. I'm like, what? I just walk over before he even swings at me. I pick him up and just drop him, and he just explodes. I love that they just get rotated, idiot, and they just fucking just go. They just shake a lot and blow up.
So the reason I like the Frost Talus is it is the only enemy in the game that you cannot fight without being creative. Because you have to get on his back, unless you want to just like fly away and shoot like 39 bomb arrows at his back, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be creative. You can't hit him with a fire arrow and then climb him and then hit him a bunch. It doesn't last long enough. You have to find a way to fight him. Like, what I prefer to do is I make the spider web of like, I take like the and this is why I really wish I probably had the auto builder, is I'll make a big spider web of like wood and put fire things just looking at all sorts of different directions and just drop it on the battlefield and then fight him. Like, and then he just is constantly just fires coming at him. And I have to be like, I have to do interesting things to fight him. No other enemy type that I've encountered so far requires me to like think or most enemies in the game, you can just sit there and block and swing. You can oblivion it, right? Where you just block, swing, block, swing. But this one, you can't do that. It doesn't work.
So, my favorite weapon is probably the fucking dog going his little toy again. My favorite weapon is usually the spear, because the spears feel kind of broken. Because, like, one-handed swords and clubs, they do their thing. You do a little swing, you do some damage, and that's it. Two-handed is like swing slower. They always like hit stun an enemy, but they're like really slow and you can't block, right? Spears kind of just seem the best of both worlds because you like they're two-handed weapons that always stagger like the lighter enemies no matter what, while also attacking really fast for like 50 to 60 damage a fucking swing with a good horn on it. So like I kind of just like had a good like any fucking spear, slap a fucking like those Alphos fucking like scythe horn on it and just fucking just be like stun like every enemy to death.
But have you considered this, Alex? Putting a spring on a two-handed weapon and spinning around with it, and just yeeting every fucking enemy 17 miles away.
I once got humiliated by an enemy. There was a little Zonite guy who had a spring shield, and so I didn't notice what it was. It was just a block on the shield, and they were taking over this little like pirate fort in the middle of the ocean. I swing at him, go sproing, and just go falling off back into the water where a fucking little Zalfos fucking like spits water at me for 2 damage. I just said, okay, fine, fuck you too. All right, fine, fair enough. If slam, you got me. He
this is your area of the depth.
Yeah, he literally tunes my ass off a little fucking platform, and I just feel like a fucking idiot for swinging on him.
Get fucking doinked on, nerd.
So
right, I am going to run through my cons of the game, though. I'm going to run through the things I don't like. So, biggest problem, and I don't think there's anyone that can even go, actually, about this. Your inventory balloons way the fuck up with a bunch of useless items, right?
Yeah.
And like, what this game desperately needed was the ability to mark items in your inventory as like, I mostly use these. Or even just like a loadout system, right? Like, tie it to a quest as a reward. Because every single person has this, right? You're going to change into your loadout for weapon, for fighting, for climbing, and for exploring, right? Like those 3. I think 3 is perfectly fair. You can have one that's just cosmetic that you like. What I will do is I'll finish doing something. I will open the fucking menu. I'll go to the inventory and I'll equip the Twilight Princess shirt, pants, and unequip the hat so he has the long hair. And I'm like, this looks nice. I want to walk around like this. And then every fucking time I have to go all the way back through the menus. There's too much menu navigation. They could have streamlined that very easily, and I don't know why they didn't.
So there is a favorites thing, kind of, but it's only for like throwable things and like arrow pieces. You can sort by like most used. So like my bright blooms and fire fruits were always at like the front when I sorted by that. But even then, that's just like There should be a loadout thing where I can be like, I want my cold weather and my like my water gear as like a fucking hotkey or something that can either swap into, or like tab in my inventory and put like like you have an auto build. How about like a quick little auto equip based on like the fucking equipment loadout, you know?
Yeah, there's no reason not to have it.
Yeah, it's just to make that quicker. Because I ended up just spending most of my time in the game in my, battery cost down, driving around in my little Hover Doom Mark III in the sands all day just to get more mileage out of it. And then like, oh no, it's mildly hot. Oh no, I'm losing one heart. Oh, it's so hot out. Oh god, it's 101 degrees. Oh, I'm dying. I had to fucking until he puts a hairband on. Then he's completely K, lol. Or oh no, it's a whole 10 degrees out. Oh, I'm so cold. I give him a fucking wig. Oh, it's okay. I'm chill now.
Wears give him a femboy backless dress.
That doesn't even give cold protection. It just gives you cold attack up.
Other downsides to the game. So the time in the game has passed. It's been like about like 5 years-ish.
Yeah.
Right? Why the fuck are there still ruined farmhouses?
So I can explain that very easily.
Why?
Dad, why are your roads in America still dog shit after 50 years?
Listen here, Alex, you struck you. Like, okay, here's the big one. Is I'm like, why is Hyrule Castle still a like cobweb infested?
Why is there still unfolded laundry sitting over there, Ted? Huh? Why don't you get to that yet? That's why, fucker. Because people are lazy.
I also was really hoping that there was going to be like a brand new village, right? Like I guess there was Lookout, whatever, but I feel like there should have been another one just for me. But like stuff like that, like why the fuck was Lon Lon Ranch not fixed up?
So I can actually explain that in universe and not a shitpost answer.
Is it because they spent all their time getting rid of every single one of the guardian beasts and all of those robots?
So, I mean, that probably took a lot of long fucking time too, alright? Manually dismantling every single fucking spider robot strewn across the land. Yes, but also, Tad, I walk 10 feet out of my house. What's that big fucking lizard with a stick doing over there? It's pretty hard to build new villages when these fucking goblins, lizards, and big trolls are constantly throwing bombs at you.
You know what? That is true. A Hinox could just come over and sit down.
like, they are in their current locations because that's where monsters don't feel like going. There's even a quest where, like, this one lady's afraid of, like, some monsters that start living on the beach and start, like, working their, like, their little, like, fucking mud huts closer and closer to the town, and she wants you to take care of them. Like, there's just monsters everywhere.
That is true. They didn't disappear in the time between the two games. Other complaint, and this is one that I haven't really heard other people say. The sky. When I went into the underground, Alex, I expected there to be different like biomes, but there's not. Like it all looks the exact same.
It's a little different in the lava area by Death Mountain, but outside of that, it's 1.5 biome. It's still not great.
Like, it's a cool looking biome. I love that it looks like it's underwater, right? Like, that's cool. It looks like it's the deep sea. I would have really liked for there to be a little... It feels like the visuals for the depths was something they did, like, at the very end. And so they didn't have enough time to really go through any iterations for it. Same with the Sky Islands. The Sky Islands, I thought that they're... Like, every single region of the game seems to have the same, like... 8 pieces of Sky Island floating in the air, where you've got like this thing you could spin around to get launched off of.
Yeah, I agree with this.
The cube. And it's like, I really was expecting it to be a little bit more like the Great Sky Island.
Yeah, because like, the tutorial is like, this is the Great Sky Island. There'll be more Sky Islands in the future. They're all just shrine puzzles. They're all shrine puzzles or little squares with like a chest and some like random pieces to build like a vehicle. They are just filler content. Outside of the very
even the fairy fountains. Like, I found fairy fountains, and it's like, these are completely inaccessible by any other normal means. I only find these in the middle of solving a shrine puzzle, and they look the exact same. So I was let down by that. I think I like the yellow. The yellow looks very cool. I just, you know? Yeah. I wish it would have been. Same with Hyrule itself. This is another complaint I have, is that Hyrule does not look that much different. And it's like, I really would have liked to see, like, Zora, like the Zora area have like a little bit more development to it, you know? In 5 years, they haven't done shit. You know, what if the Goron's
Oh, I can
done
tell you,
nothing?
for 5 years, my town still looks the same, Tad. I think you underestimate how many times people actually build new buildings.
Okay, but consider this. You had like a giant like infestation of monsters. Now it's finally gone. I feel like you'd be like really happy about that.
Finally gone. There's these fuckers live 5 feet out of my fucking town entrance. These fuckers here start fucking screaming and throwing fucking potatoes at me.
Listen here, shithead.
They're-
You gotta wipe them out.
Fucking,
Exterminate them.
oh, the blood moon's here. They're back, fucker.
That is true. You gotta
Imagine you fucking destroy a monster camp, quickly fucking get Hudson, the son and Dunn, the fucking new village on top of it. Blood moon happens. There's a fucking macabre in your house at 3 in the morning. And he bites you and you get rabies. What do you do about it?
Well, your brain turns to foam is what happens.
Like, there's actually a very simple in-universe explanation. It is literally just, bro, they can't.
So I wonder if at the end of this game, if you finally get rid of the fucking blood moon, because if you don't, Hyrule is kind of fucked. Like, unless, oh my god, you know what fixes Hyrule? Every single person, like, it evolves to the point where you just have a fucking gun in your house and you just blab them as soon as they spawn in. You spawn camp them. You set up little turrets and they just bat, bat, bat.
Basically, yeah. So. I want to talk about. I'm not going to say what the ending is, but I do want to kind of close this off. So, are you done Zeldaing out?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because you definitely did a lot less than I have. And I don't want to, like. I want to talk about it, obviously, but, like, I don't want to just say every single thing ever in the game, because you right
there is one other story I have.
Go ahead.
So I call this the driving crooner.
Yeah.
I was in the underground area, and I just watched I Think You Should Leave season 3.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's the driving crooner. And I made this really long, like, hot dog car, right? Like, I just grabbed some shit, put it on the side. I put a little tiki guy that looks at enemies, put a cannon on his head, drove up to a Yiga guy, very quickly realized I put the cannon on backwards. fuck, he's trying to make it look real. Boom. Boo-doo-doo-doo.
You're driving around with fucking suicide kid, your side eye. You're driving around like, dude, you don't even fucking stand. People want to fucking kill me over this shit. You want to pull a
Yiga clan pull up and they pull
Hey.
up in their monster truck.
Hey.
Link, show us your tiki.
There's no fucking tiki. Hey, we're gonna fucking kill you. Yeah, we're gonna fucking kill you, Link.
Oh my god, it even works when he's like, you know, when I was younger, I fell into a river and I was gonna drown, but I was knocked out of it by a fish.
I really like.
I gotta find a way to make money out of this. All right, I'm done.
Okay. So. I won't say what it is, but I really liked the final boss a lot. I really liked all of it. It was very good. I can't say because Ted has 120 hours into this game and not like even close, not even a modicum, but of a crumb of being close to that game because he just keeps fucking around going, ooh, a piece of candy. Ooh, a piece of candy.
I found a tree that had a bunch of mushrooms around it, and it was nice. I found honey, and I rode a bear for a while.
I never even found a bear or an ostrich when the fucking the glider guy's like, ooh, find me a picture of these for a thing. I was all over that fucking game on my little hoverbike at one point and my little sand glider, my Hover Doom Mark III. I didn't find a fucking bear ever. Where the fuck are the bears?
Dude, they're fucking everywhere.
Where the
You just gotta explore.
Bro, there are bears everywhere. What are you, fucking crazy? Is it this? So,
all right.
So anyway. TLDR, really liked it. Much better. Go play it.
$70 plus tip. You know what doesn't cost $70, Aleks? Finding the podcast here on YouTube, iTunes, Google Play, Spotify. There's a email in the description. Let me tell you about @gmail.com. There was a phone number in the description, but I didn't use it enough. And then they were like, hey, do you want to pay $70 a month? And I was like, no, I will not do that for the funny Homestuck phone number. Fuck that. Twitter, Discord, Patreon. You can buy t-shirts. You could get I just realized, Aleks, this schizo shirt I'm wearing is the exact same shade of blue as the official Tad version of the Let Me Tell You About shirt that you could buy in the description.
Based.
You should buy the long gray one, Aleks. I bet it would look good on you. It could suit your Aleks cosplay.
Yeah. I was wearing it for the fucking stupid fucking Shaggy bit, stupid fucking Rosalina bit where I looked like Shaggy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
I was wearing it for that.
I forgot. Oh well. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you have a good day. If you get rabies, immediately get that shit treated. It fucking sucks. Goodbye. I just hung up on Discord instead. Whoops.